Hey folks, just to give you a bit of an intro on double and multiple exposure photography, I'm hoping to be back tomorrow so we can kind of dive deep into this. But so for now, today's kind of a mixture day. If you aren't finished your video tutorials, work on that. If you're not finished your past assignment, like you can work on your aperture stuff, try to finish that. And then if you've finished all the stuff, then let's move on to just kind of exploring this. So the idea of double or multiple exposure photography is that in traditional sense you would have a camera with film and you would take a picture and then you would rewind the film and take a second picture on the same kind of camera spot. So the idea is you end up with two photos kind of overlaid on each other. So kind of like how we did our shutter speed photography where we kept it open longer and we could get more. If you moved across the room with a light, it would capture all that light. Same idea as that, but instead of kind of having it open the whole time, you would have it open at the start and at the end. And what people use this for is to kind of overlay two different landscapes on each other. So I'm gonna switch to this quickly. So for example, on here, if you search it up, this is the type of photo you'll get. So you have double exposure, where you have stuff like a building or a street overlaid into a silhouette, flower overlaid into iris. We have an actual, this is a tutorial that we will use. You have a city and someone's silhouette. So a lot of the time it involves some person's silhouette, and it's either landscape getting put into the person's silhouette or it's the person's silhouette getting overlaid on top of the landscape. So sometimes we'll see the memes where there's kind of like a face kind of transparent in the sky. That's also technically double exposure in a way, but it's the faked version. So the traditional way to do double exposure is, of course, the taking two pictures and overlaying them with film. Nowadays, a lot of the time it's done using Photoshop as an artistic thing. Technically, the cameras can also do it, but it's all just digital effect, so instead of doing it on the camera directly, we can just do it in Photoshop and kind of get photos that we enjoy, that we've kind of determined the outcome for. So we're going to make a few of these over the next week. We're going to try a couple different things. But this is the idea of double exposure. And then coming back to it, from double exposure to multiple exposure, the only real difference there is double exposure overlays two photos, multiple exposure overlays more than two photos. So it's the same idea, just many photos. So again, with the traditional camera sense, they would just keep rolling back that film and taking the photo over and over again and just layering that photo with new and new pictures until they've exposed all parts of the film with different imagery. So this is kind of the basics of what double exposure is. I'll talk more into it tomorrow, hopefully. I will be posting a guide, and what I want you to do today, if you're at this point, is to grab either photos that you've already taken or photos from Google, and you're going to try doing one of these double exposure tutorials. So there's a couple tutorials I'll post that you can try, and I'll post a video from Mr. Wolf that you can follow along with. And from there, you're just going to kind of explore and practice. Try Mr. Wolf's first with a couple of your photos, and then we'll go from there and try maybe one of the more advanced tutorials or try a couple new ones just on the basics. So Mr. Wolf's is the basic intro tutorial. Some of the YouTube ones I'll share are a lot more advanced and complex, but they get a cooler product. So please start with Mr. Wolf's, start with a basic one. Look, the sun's coming out. Start with a basic one, Mr. Wolf's, maybe do a couple times with Mr. Wolf's, and then from there, let's move on to one of the advanced tutorials. And tomorrow we will explore a bit more into this. So this is an intro to double exposure, and yeah, I will see you all tomorrow.